Hi, good evening. My name is Lieutenant Akinola. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the United States Naval Academy, and I want to welcome you to our webcast this evening. With me, I have Midshipman Curry. He's the Brigade Commander here at the United States Naval Academy, which is the highest ranking midshipman here at our school. So, just want to introduce you real quick.
I'm Gentleman Curry. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and hopefully I'm here to assist you guys with any questions you have tonight and help Lieutenant Akinola as we walk you guys through life at the Naval Academy and kind of what it takes to get in, what it is to be a part.
Okay, great. Yes. So again, Lieutenant Akinola, I'm an admissions counselor. So how this hour is going to be broken up, I'm going to give an admissions brief here at the beginning. I want to ask that you hold any questions you may have towards the end. The brief covers a lot of information, a lot of good information. So definitely take notes, write down any questions you may have, and then towards the end, I'll open it up for questions. You can address them both to either myself or Midshipman Curry if you want more of the recent midshipman life. And then if you want more of the admissions, how to get inside of it, I guess I'll help with that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start the admissions brief here. So this is the agenda we'll have. We'll just talk about the Naval Service. We'll talk a little about what the Naval Academy is, why come to the Naval Academy, and then hopefully once we convince you why you should come here, how you can start the application process. Okay. So a little bit of background. We'll talk about the Department of Defense of the organization. There are four main branches: Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps. Really three. Navy, Marine Corps are considered one branch. They both fall in the Department of the Navy. Okay. So I'm just clicking through some information here. A little bit of information about the Army and the Air Force, but really we care about the Navy and the Marine Corps. So we normally call the Navy Marine Corps team. The Navy and Marine Corps have a very integrated mission. So frequently you'll see Navy and Marine Corps units deployed together for a common goal. Okay. And so graduates from the Naval Academy, they can either go into the Navy or the Marine Corps. So this is the breakdown for the Navy and the Marine Corps. There are three main ways you can get a commission as an officer in the Navy and the Marine Corps. That's either through ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, which is basically you go to a regular university, you go to a scholarship, and then you graduate, you become an officer. You can do Officer Candidate School, which is OCS. That's where you go through college on your own dime. You graduate, you decide you want to become an officer in the military. You can go through OCS. And then there's the Naval Academy, which is what I'll obviously talk to. So from the Naval Academy, we're looking to create leaders, officers, Navy Marine Corps officers. What is an officer? Well, I myself, I'm an officer in the Navy. I'm a surface warfare officer. So I've been on 2 ships, 2 deployments. And I would say that the main job of an officer is to take charge of the unit that you're entrusted with and to prepare them for combat, prepare them for battle. So that's any type of inspections, certifications, training, workups, whatever you have to do to prepare your unit, your men and women, your sailors and Marines to go into harm's way. That's your primary job as an officer in the Navy or the Marine Corps. Your secondary job is for your own personal professional development. So any type of special schools or classes or courses or training you need to get as an officer, that's your secondary job as an officer in the Navy and Marine Corps. But your first job, take care of your sailors and Marines. And there are various jobs available in the Navy and the Marine Corps. Some of them are listed here on the slide: naval aviation, special warfare, surface warfare, like I mentioned. And there are several different jobs you can have in the Marine Corps as well. So the place, Annapolis, Maryland, capital of Maryland. It's about 25 miles south of Baltimore, about 25 miles east of D.C. Very centrally located. And you'll see on the slide here a lot of different brigade services here that you can think of. We're kind of a small little city. So we have our own barbershop, armory, post office, our own armory. So not your typical neighborhood, but we have a lot of our own little things. And then for the athletic facilities, 22 world-class athletic facilities. Any type of sport you can think of playing, you can almost certainly play here at the Naval Academy. Here's another shot. So I want to give you just a moment to read the mission of the Naval Academy. So the big takeaway: to develop midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically so they can assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. So this is what governs everything that we do here at the Naval Academy, from our admissions process and the candidate to apply to your 4 years here at the Naval Academy, and then your subsequent graduation. And so the Brigade of Midshipmen, I'll let Midshipman Curry talk more about the Brigade of Midshipmen and how that's compiled.
And so in the brigade, we have about 4,500 midshipmen. The brigade is broken down into really quickly 2 regiments, which are broken down. Each regiment has 3 battalions of midshipmen in it, and each of those battalions has 5 companies. A company, if you come to the Naval Academy, you'll be assigned to a company that has roughly 130 to 150 midshipmen in each company, ranging from freshmen all the way to seniors, with about 40 midshipmen in each class in each company.
And that's the basic rundown of the Brigade of Midshipmen. So everyone's assigned a company, 30 companies total, coming from all over the country. We represent all 50 states, all the American territories, and we also have a handful of foreign exchange students who come from our NATO allies, and they also come in the Brigade of Midshipmen as well and participate and kind of immerse themselves in the life here at the Naval Academy and in America in general. So it's really great. Total about 4,500 midshipmen total. So these are just some of the attributes we look for in potential candidates for the Naval Academy and midshipmen. Selfless, inspirational, proficient, innovative, articulate, adaptive, and professional. Those are all things. Now, we don't expect you to be perfect at all these things. We don't expect you to be a superstar. But you should have a solid foundation in each and one of these attributes. So we, here at the Naval Academy, we can build on that. So we can make you that much better, that much stronger, that much more prepared. So when you do graduate, you can lead people into homeland. So in Naval Academy, we are a 4-year college. So we are accredited. The degree you get here from the Naval Academy is just as good as any bachelor's degree you get from MIT or Harvard or Yale. Everyone graduates with a Bachelor's of Science degree. This is regardless of what your major is. So you can major in English, political science. It doesn't matter. You're going to graduate with a Bachelor's of Science degree. So U.S. News and World Report, America's Best Colleges 2014 just came out. We ranked the #1 public liberal arts college in the country. Okay. For our undergraduate engineering programs, we were ranked #4. So we consider ourselves an engineering school. So as you'll see in the next couple of slides, we have a very regimented core curriculum, and it's very science and math specific, very science and math heavy. So just know that we do consider ourselves an engineering school, but it's all for a greater goal, to prepare you to go on to very advanced ships and artillery and weaponry and be able to understand it and make it work. And we also have 24 majors here at the Naval Academy, broken into 3 groups. First group is engineering and weapons. Second group is math and science. And then the third group is humanities and social sciences. And Jimmy Curry, your major is? One more
Systems engineering.
Okay. And how do you like that?
I love systems engineering. It's a really great hands-on major. One of the best things about engineering at the Naval Academy, probably one of the reasons we're ranked #4, is because it's such a hands-on department. And so whether it's your intro class or one of your final classes as a senior, you're constantly building things, getting your hands dirty, getting to play around with some really neat equipment. So I love being an engineer.
That's great. That's great. Now I will say, based on the recent naval directive that came out about 2006, 2007, at least 66% of every graduating class must major in a STEM field: STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So that basically means 2 out of 3 students have to major in either an engineering or a math and science field. And that's not to discourage you or to make you apprehensive in any way. It's just kind of the reality of it. We are an engineering school. We are a very STEM-oriented school. But I would still encourage you, if you're interested in the Naval Academy, you should apply. And more often than not, people get what they want. So if you really want to be an English major, chances are you'll become an English major when you come to the Naval Academy. We have various minors. You can only minor in a language here at the Naval Academy. If you major in humanities or social science, you have to minor in a language. So if you major in Chinese, you have to also minor in another language. And that's in order to make sure that the academic workload is fair among all the other majors here at the Naval Academy. So again, this is our core curriculum. As you can see, it's very robust. Everything in blue are your leadership, military and law classes. Everything in red are your humanities and social sciences, and everything in red are your science and engineering courses, and everything in green are your humanities and social sciences. So as you can see, it's very robust. Your freshman year, we basically plan everything out for you. At the end of your freshman year, you then decide on what your major is going to be. So that's a little bit different from other colleges. Some colleges, they'll give you a year or two to figure out what your major is going to be. Here at the Naval Academy, you have to decide pretty quickly what you want to devote the next 3 years here at the Naval Academy to. A couple of notes. Everything in white are courses that are filled in by your major. And then Mathematics 4, that's either going to be statistics or differential equations depending on what your major is. So we have a very small classroom size. I also graduated from the Naval Academy, and this is one of the things that really attracted me about the Naval Academy, the small classroom size. It's 8-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And you'll very rarely find a class that's larger than 25 people. And even if it's larger than 25 people, chances are it's a PE class, and they'll add more teachers to compensate for the larger group. So you won't even notice that it's a large class because they still have the small, tight-knit class sizes. You want to talk more about the class sizes?
Yeah, when I was actually looking for colleges, that was one of the things that I looked for the most, because I came from a pretty small high school, and so I was looking for a small teacher-to-student ratio, and it's honestly one of Naval Academy's biggest advantages, because I'll be up here at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and our professors will be up here the day before a test to help us with review. They're constantly available by cell phone, email, because they're here to teach. And that's another good thing is a lot of these bigger colleges you might go to, they have TAs who teach their classes, but here we have professors who are here to teach us, and they really care about being in the classroom and being with the midshipmen. So it's really great.
Yeah, I really want to emphasize that point. No teacher assistants, no TAs. If you are a student and you're having trouble with your classes, you can go directly to your professor. To teach here at the Naval Academy, you have to have at least a master's degree. Most of our teachers have PhDs. So you're getting tutored by a PhD in whatever class you're taking. I don't know if you can say that at other colleges and universities. So really consider that when you're thinking about schools in general. But obviously, I agree with Midshipman Curry that is definitely an advantage that the Naval Academy has over other schools. And one other thing I would like to note, some people may hesitate, especially with a military college that will have more military professors than civilian professors. So I can assure you that's not the case. We have a 50-50 split right down the middle, and it's been that way since we were founded in 1845. Other service academies can't say that. So that's kind of all I'll say about that. But we try our very best to maintain that 50-50% divide between military professors and civilian professors in order to get the best of both worlds. We have various academic opportunities here at the Naval Academy. We have various, some are abroad programs or study abroad programs. One of our more popular ones is, I don't know why you'd want to, but you can do an exchange program at another service academy. So you go to West Point Air Force, we kind of banish you away for a semester, and you come back regaling us with all the funny things that people at West Point and the Air Force Academy do. Have you had experience with summer?
So I never did an exchange semester. However, during my summers when we have summer training, I've taken a couple trips overseas. So I spent 7 weeks after my second year here studying Arabic. I was in Oman in the Middle East, and then last summer I actually spent 2 months in Morocco. Same thing, studying Arabic. And so that's also another key point. I'm an engineer at the Naval Academy, but I've had plenty of opportunity to pursue an Arabic minor and study Arabic because it's something that I really enjoy.
Yeah, and please believe me when I say this, Midshipman Curry's experience isn't unique. There are a lot of opportunities here at the Naval Academy where you can, if you have an interest and you're willing to work with your advisor and maybe work a little bit harder, it'll certainly afford you lots of opportunities to see various parts of the world. So I can't stress that enough. We also have programs with our other NATO allies. So let's say that you minor in Spanish and you're pretty good at Spanish. you can then put in an application to actually study at the Spanish Naval Academy. And you'll go over to Spain, you'll spend a summer semester there, and you'll just immerse yourself at their naval academy and in their cultures. And there are various other opportunities at other naval academies throughout the world.
And that's one of the biggest things is the word opportunity, and the Naval Academy definitely affords every single midshipman excellent opportunities. Every single man I've talked to who's done an exchange, a foreign exchange, has loved it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, more academic opportunities. We have various internships and at graduate school. Have you done any internships, or I know
I didn't get a chance to do an internship actually because of Arabic studies, and so I kind of took front seat on that. But grad school, as seniors, we're actually in the process of applying right now. We have students applying for the Rhodes, the Marshall, Mitchell, Fulbright, and then we have a significant number of seniors also applying for domestic programs here in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, for those who aren't familiar, the Rhodes Scholarship is a very prestigious scholarship. It's at overseas in England and Oxford, I believe. The Naval Academy has routinely been very competitive and very strong in that competition for the Rhodes Scholarship. Bill Clinton was a former Rhodes Scholar. So you're going to be in good company here at the Naval Academy. We'll definitely push you and do our best to prepare you for not only the Rhodes Scholarship, but any type of academic opportunity you want after graduation. We'll certainly help you here as well.
Yeah, last year we actually graduated 2 Rhodes Scholars.
Yeah, absolutely. So midshipman daily schedule, pretty standard. What I normally tell people is when you join the Navy, and when you join the Naval Academy in particular, your time is no longer your own. So it kind of belongs to somebody else. So it starts bright and early, 5:30. I'll just explain a couple of things. Personal conditioning, what's that? It's physical training. So you do push-ups, sit-ups, you do the endurance course, O course, whatever your upper class wants you to do. That morning, you're going to do it as a freshman here at the Naval Academy. I should say this schedule is indicative of a freshman schedule. If you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, the schedule is a little bit more forgiving. But as a freshman, your time is very strictly controlled and regimented. So formation is just any time that you form up a military unit, usually in lines, and that's usually when you do inspections and you pass work. So we have 3 formations throughout the day. The first is at 7. You have breakfast, academic periods, another formation, more academic periods, and then an athletic period. Every midshipman here at the Naval Academy is considered an athlete. Regardless of how much or how little you participated in sports in high school, doesn't matter if you're a varsity athlete in high school or not. When you come here, you're considered an athlete. That's a third of our mission here at the Naval Academy, to develop you physically. So we take that very seriously. So except for a few special circumstances, everyone participates in the sports period. Then we have another formation, and then an academic study period. Again, everyone participates in that academic study period. Unless you have very special permission, you're going to be in your room or in the library study. Anything to add on the daily schedule?
And that's about right. As a freshman, so you can see on the schedule that it ends at 2300. As a freshman, you have a mandated bedtime at 2300, and then like Lieutenant Camille said, most mornings 05:30, you'll be up for PT with your company.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, everyone's considered an athlete here at the Naval Academy. It just depends on the level of athleticism. At the highest level, we have varsity sports. We are a Division I school. So these are all the Division I sports that we have here at the Naval Academy. And we do participate in the NCAA. We also have club sports right underneath varsity sports in terms of athleticism. The only difference there is the schedule is a little bit easier for people, but it's still just as competitive as varsity sports. And then we have intramurals. How this normally works, again, as we mentioned earlier, every midshipman here at the Naval Academy is assigned a company. So there are 30 companies. So normally for each sport, a company will field a team. So if it's 3-on-3 basketball or 5-on-5 basketball, a company will send 10 people or so, and they'll play basketball for 1 or 2 weeks, and then they'll rotate to the next sport. Okay. So that's how sports are here at the Naval Academy. Now we'll say in the previous slide, the athletic period spans about 2.5, 3 hours. Now the expectation isn't for you to do physical training all 3 hours, but the expectation is for you to use that 3 hours efficiently and to really use it to devote to developing your physical prowess and your physical ability. You do have to pass a physical fitness test every semester while you're here, and it's taken very seriously. If you fail that physical fitness test, there can be negative consequences. So we want to make sure you take advantage of that time. And then we have various extracurricular activities as well, music, cultural, and service activities, military, religious, and academic. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, so if you don't see anything you like, doesn't mean we don't have it, just means we may not have listed it. And even if we don't have it listed, you can certainly start a club. I mean, clubs are starting every semester, it seems like, here at the Naval Academy.
It's interesting because whatever your interest is, people come here and sometimes they discover new interests. But scuba diving club, parachute team, all kinds of things. So people, rock climbing clubs, mountaineering clubs, people go on hikes, all kinds of things. So there's plenty of opportunities.
Absolutely. We have our own flying team. So if you want to learn how to fly, if you start early enough and you play your cards right, you can actually graduate with a private pilot's license. And then, as you mentioned before, scuba diving. If you really like scuba diving, you can actually graduate as a certified scuba diver when you graduate. So it's pretty neat.
And the cool thing about a lot of that training, whether it's getting your private pilot's license or your open water scuba qualifications, a lot of times, since we're the Naval Academy, we get discounted prices for lessons and equipment and things like that. And so what you might be paying at another college to get your scuba qualifications is half or even less with the Naval Academy. So that's really neat.
So pay and benefits. Midshipmen are employees of the United States Navy. What does that mean? If you're accepted to the Naval Academy, your first order of business will be attending plebe summer. So that's usually the last week of June. That's when you'll start to come to the Naval Academy, and you'll do about a 8-week boot camp of sorts here to prepare you to join the Navy and Naval Academy in particular. When you show up for induction day, that first day, you are now a member of the United States Navy. You will take an oath. You will swear to uphold the Constitution and to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So it's certainly not to be taken lightly. Midshipman is an actual rank in the Navy. So it's not a made-up rank or anything like that. You are a bona fide member of the United States Navy. So that means you're governed by the Uniform Code of Military Justice, any rules and regulations for the Department of the Navy or Department of Defense, and any rules and regulations for the United States Naval Academy. So I don't mean to scare you. I just want to impress upon you the seriousness of accepting an appointment here at the Naval Academy. But there are some benefits. So no tuition, so you don't pay for school. It's zero. You pay nothing monetarily, I should say. Your payment for your education is your time and service. Okay, when you graduate, you have to serve at least 5 years active duty, and that depends on your service selection. So I just want to make sure that's what's going on with that. But no tuition. Room and board is completely taken care of, full medical and dental. And you get a stipend. So how crazy is that? We pay you to go to school. How crazy is that? So $990 a month. Now that's your overall pay. It's prorated though, so you don't get that full amount. Usually as a freshman you get about $100 a month, and then as you advance in your years you'll get more and more of that pay. Now, why is that? If you recall in the previous slide, all the brigade services we have available here, so let's say I'm a midshipman and want to get a haircut. They've already deducted that amount of money from my paycheck. So whether I get a haircut once a week or once a month, it doesn't matter. They've already taken out my paycheck. So that's how they pay for it, by kind of taking it out of your overall fee and then reducing it down to a stipend.
One thing I'll address really quickly is when you come in, you're issued new computers, new uniforms, and a couple other things, and you kind of pay that off with this stipend he's talking about over the course of the 4 years. One thing I wish I would have done coming in is taken some small scholarships. That's about an $8,000 loan to pay for all that stuff coming in. And if you go ahead and take a couple small scholarships as you're coming in, you can pay that off right off the bat and actually end up receiving more of your stipend over the course of the 4 years.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why it's so much less, because you have to pay for all the services, and then all the computer and things like that we give you at your freshman year, you also pay for that over your 4 years. That's why you only get $100 a month. But I can assure you, as a freshman of the Naval Academy, as I'm sure you're going to test to, you're not going to need much more than $100.
I mean, everything's paid for. You have food.
Exactly.
You have a place to stay.
Exactly.
Don't need clothes to wear.
And then we have the career starter loan. So how this works, it's a very low interest loan. It's about $35,000, and you get it at the beginning of your junior year, and you use it however you want to. Because obviously, even if we were to give you the full $990 a month, that wouldn't be nearly enough money to pay for anything when you graduate, even if you saved it all over the course of 4 years. So usually the intention for the loan is to use it when you graduate, buy a car, furniture, clothes. So when you graduate, you're not living in a box somewhere. You can actually take care of yourself and start your career off on the right foot. How do you use your?
I actually bought a car.
Okay.
It was one of the first things I did, and then midshipmen used their loan different ways, and so with the money I had left over, invested some of it. You can, never too early start thinking about retirement.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some people maybe take your mom and dad out for a cruise.
Yeah.
Thanks, mom and dad, for all the great stuff for raising me so well. So it really just depends on you and how you want to use it. The only stipulation is you have to pay it back within 5 years after you graduate. And usually, if you start even the lowest payment plan, you will easily pay off your loan in 5 years. That's not even an issue. So professional development, obviously, it's a military school. So life here at the Naval Academy is regimented. If you're looking for the kind of free-flowing, do whatever you want, devil may care type of experience at college, the Naval Academy probably isn't for you. Now, if you want a challenging, rewarding college experience, I would definitely encourage you to consider the Naval Academy. So that's just our professional development. Anything more with that?
No, that's exactly right. And when I was coming in, someone described it to me like this. He said it's like you're juggling 4 or 5 different balls, and some of them are made of wood, one of them is made of glass, one of them is made of metal, and you have so much going on: professional development, personal development, physical development, things like that. Sometimes you're going to drop things, and you have to figure out which one you want to drop. Do you want to drop the wooden one? Which one's going to break? The glass one? So it's really that kind of challenging environment that we're talking about. But that's why a lot of midshipmen are here. It's because that's the kind of thing that
for the challenge.
Exactly.
And this is just a list of the bare minimum military duties you would have here at the Naval Academy. So a couple things that may seem surprising: your academic performance. Absolutely, you're required to go to class here at the Naval Academy. So there's no sleeping in. There's no just showing up for tests at other universities. You're required to go to class every single day. Attendance is taken. If you don't show up for class, that'll negatively affect your order of merit. So we do take it seriously. Same thing with your physical performance. As I mentioned before, we have a physical fitness test you have to pass every semester, things like that. So more professional development. Throughout the 4 years here, you'll take a series of courses, classes, in order to prepare you for your subsequent Naval and Marine Corps service. Whether it be military law and ethics, you'll take various leadership courses, and things like that. So this is just a short list. It's not an all-encompassing list, but a short list of the courses you would take here at the Naval Academy. And then summer training. So again, you're getting paid to be a student here at the Naval Academy. So you don't quit your job during the summer. So you're a student. You're a full-time student. That includes the summers. So normally how it works, the summer is divided into 3 blocks. 1 block, 1 month, that's your time off. You'll go home, and you'll go back to mom and dad, bemoan the Naval Academy and how terrible it is and how they're mean to you, and then you'll turn right back around and come back for more fun in the sun. And then the other 2 months, 1 month is devoted to training here at the Naval Academy. So you'll come back from the Naval Academy, do either sailing or any type of other specific training here. And then you'll do 1 month in the active duty Navy Marine Corps. So we'll actually send you off to ships and Marine Corps units, and you'll see how the real Navy and Marine Corps acts. Do you have any personal experience with summer training?
Well, we'll get in just a second. We'll talk about some of the programs during the summer that you can do for training here at the Naval Academy. As far as cruises go, after my first year, I went out on a submarine and spent a couple weeks on that. I've been out on surface ships and spent time in the Marine Corps. And what's really great about it is the Naval Academy works really hard to make sure midshipmen get on boats and ships that are traveling the world. And so we had midshipmen in multiple foreign countries: English Channel, Bahrain, Greece, Japan, you name it. They were all over. And so just great opportunities during the summer.
Absolutely. So again, this is just more numbers and how to break down. So various midshipmen go on submarines, aviation, Marine Corps, foreign exchange programs, things like that. So when you graduate, again, everyone graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree, regardless of your major. Everyone's commissioned as an officer in the Navy or the Marine Corps, so we have a 100% employment rate, which is some other colleges or universities can't say that. Again, a 5-year service commitment, so that's a minimum of 5 years. After you graduate, you'll serve in the Navy or the Marine Corps. But there are limitless career possibilities and opportunities once you graduate. So some of those opportunities, you can do surface warfare, so you can be on ships. Again, I'm a surface warfare officer, so you can be assigned to something as small as a riverine boat or something as large as an aircraft carrier. It just depends on where the Navy needs you. You can also be assigned on a submarine. So we have ballistic submarines and attack submarines. They have different missions, but again, you can be assigned to a submarine and have really exciting missions there. You can also do naval aviation, so you can do either a rotary wing, which is more of a helicopter, or if you want to be more like Tom Cruise, Top Gun, with your hair on fire, you can do kind of a fixed wing at the bottom left corner there. Also have special warfare, special operations. So for a very select few of midshipmen, about 20 to 30 in each class, they have the opportunity to go to either Navy SEALs or EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. Those are people who actually disarm bombs. For the special warfare, EOD is open to women. It's been open to women for several years now. SEALs is still closed to men, but that may change here in the next year or so. But as of right now, it's still men only for Navy SEALs. And then we have Marine Corps. Again, you can do Marine Ground, which is where you have a ground job, such as artillery, infantry, things like that. Or you can do Marine Air, so you essentially fly an aircraft for the Marine Corps. And then for a very select few, it's no more than 10 per class. There is the opportunity to go to medical school. So again, it's very competitive. And as a comparison, Navy SEALs, which is a very, very competitive service selection, if not the most competitive service selection here at the Naval Academy, they have about 20 to 30 people. Medical Corps, or to go to medical school, that's only 10. So if you think about it, going to medical school from the Naval Academy is just as hard, if not harder, than going and graduating as a Navy SEAL. So may not be the best route if you're serious about medical school, but it's definitely a possibility. And this is just the service assignments for the class of 2013, the one that just graduated this previous year. Midshipman Curry, what service assignment were you interested in? Marine Corps. So yeah, I mean, whatever you like to do, Marine Corps, service warfare, doesn't matter. The Navy will do its best to line you up with the job that you want. There's no guarantee, but chances are you'll get your number one or number two choice. So we try our best to accommodate you in that regard. And it's just a breakdown. Submarines, SEALs, Navy pilots. One thing about pilots, a little known fact, the Naval Academy actually graduates more pilots than the Air Force Academy. So if you combine our Navy and Marine Corps pilots and put them together, it outnumbers the Air Force Academy. But they'll never tell you this, okay? So it'll be our little secret. But we actually commission more pilots than any other service academy. And that's just the other breakdown there. So again, if you recall the mission of the Naval Academy, we want to develop graduates who can assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. And so I think this slide very nicely summarizes that. I know for myself personally, I'm sure it's the same for Midshipman Curry. One of the things that attracted me about the Naval Academy was being able to go to the same school that John McCain went to, and Jimmy Carter, and Admiral Stockdale, all those, David Robinson, all those amazing Americans, to be able to go to the same school they went to, that really attracted me about the Naval Academy. That really pushed me to apply here, and luckily I was able to come here and graduate. So, one thing of note, we actually graduate more astronauts than any other school in the country. 52. Well, I think it's 53 now. We just had a recent one a few weeks ago, Marine major actually. We just named a candidate for astronauts, so you can take that up by the way. So it's pretty cool. So for command, the current chief of naval operations, Admiral Greenert, he's an Academy graduate. Various astronauts, Alan Shepard, the first American in space. Michael Bolden, the current head of NASA. and Wendy Lawrence, who's the second woman in space, all Academy graduates.
And if you get a chance and you want to read an inspiring story, actually just Google General Bolden's story and what he did and the effort he put into getting in the Naval Academy and then pursuing an astronaut's career. That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. Dave Robinson, obviously, played for San Antonio Spurs. Roger Staubach played for the Dallas Cowboys. In government, Senator from Virginia, Mr. Webb, Senator McCain from Arizona, and Jimmy Carter, former President of the United States, all Academy graduates. So how to apply? How do you get involved? Well, there are different ways to get involved here at the Naval Academy. One is through our summer camps. So every summer we have various summer camps. They're listed here. Great opportunity, open for elementary to high school students. You come here to the Naval Academy. You sleep in Bancroft Hall, which is our dormitory. And you eat our food. You interact with some of the midshipmen and the coaches. So most kids have a lot of fun. Then we have the STEM program, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Again, we're a STEM school. So we have a summer STEM camp that we run for 7th graders all the way up through 11th graders. It's during the month of June. And again, we invite these 7th and 11th graders to our school and just to use our facilities. We have tremendous engineering and math science facilities here at the Naval Academy. And so it's our opportunity to open it up to the population at large so they can participate in that. And then we have the Naval Academy Summer Seminar Program. This is by far our most popular program. It's open only for rising seniors, so the summer between your junior and your senior year. And so it's very, very popular. The application actually opens January 16th of next year. If you're a junior right now and you think this is something you're interested in, definitely go to the website listed below and apply. I know you had some experience with summer seminar.
Yeah, so I actually went to summer seminar when I was a rising senior in high school, and then had the opportunity to what we call a detailer here, but work with the high schoolers coming in for summer seminar after my first year as a freshman, as a plebe year. And both experiences, participating and then helping run it, were excellent. And there's sometimes a misnomer out there that you have to go to summer seminar to get in the academy, and that's by no means true.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, Jim Curry. You do not have to attend summer seminar to be considered for the Naval Academy. It is not a prerequisite for application. It's not a prerequisite for anything. Summer seminar is an opportunity for people to consider if the Naval Academy is the right place for them. So don't feel like if you apply to summer seminar and you're rejected, that you're somehow not worthy to come here or we don't want you. That's not the case. Really what the case is, we only have a limited number of spots, and we unfortunately have to turn in a lot of very qualified, very good people. So again, if you apply for summer seminar and you don't get it, if you're still interested in the Naval Academy, I certainly encourage you to continue that application process. Very good. So this is the candidate cycle. So it really starts your spring semester of your junior year, taking the ACT and the SAT. We accept both. We supersize it here at the Naval Academy. So we will take your highest math and your highest verbal in your SATs, and that is what goes into your application. It doesn't matter if you've taken it once or 11 times. We don't care. Same thing for the ACT. Your highest ACT math and your highest ACT verbal, that is what goes into your record. Then we have the application for the summer program that opens up. The general application that opens up the first week of June. And then we have the first admissions board, the first week of September. We have a rolling admissions process. So that means that we have admissions boards every week until about March, until our class is filled. Now, we have a rolling admissions process, but our notification process is not rolling. And that's because you have to receive a nomination from a congressman or a senator or the vice president in order to come to the Naval Academy. And I'll talk more about the nomination process in a second. Just know that if you apply to the Naval Academy, chances are you will not find out whether you were accepted or not until after January. So sometime February, March time. And then April 15th is when everyone is notified of their status no matter what. And then May the 1st, that's when you need to let us know if you want to come to the Naval Academy or if you want to turn us down. And then first week of July, last week of June, that's when plebe summer starts. That's when the journey begins. So basic eligibility, at least 17 years old. You can't be past your 23rd birthday on the first day that you show up here. So for plebe summer, for induction day, You cannot be 23 years of age. You have to be 22 or under. You have to be a U.S. citizen, good moral character. What does that mean? Basically means if you have anything worse than a speeding ticket, that may or may not hurt your chances depending on what the crime was, what the transgression was. And then you have to have good moral character. So this is our website. You go to our website right now. This is what will pop up. Just click on Apply Now, and that will start the preliminary questionnaire. So the preliminary questionnaire is just a way for us to gauge if the Naval Academy is the right place for you. After you ask that question, or after you finish that questionnaire, if you feel like you may not be a good fit, you will not become an official candidate. So you have to meet certain minimum requirements in terms of SATs, grades, moral character, things like that. Most people have no problem with the preliminary questionnaire, but again, it's our chance to make sure we match you up for the right place. So you finish the preliminary app, you become an official candidate. You have to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. We will work with you to complete 1, 2, and 3. For 4, we will actually, you have to get a nomination from a congressman or senator. I'll talk more about that in a second. So once you've done all 4, you're then eligible to compete. And then based on that competition, you will then be offered an appointment to the Naval Academy. So this is the application process. Everything on the left are things we'll need from you, and everything on the right are things we need from your high school. Everything is electronic, with the exception of the transcript that has to be mailed into us, hard copy. So for the admissions boards, it's a very holistic approach. There isn't any one thing that we look for. We look for a very well-rounded person. So for grades, we look at your SAT, ACT, your GPA, your class rank, the high school you go to, things like that. We also look at your teacher recommendations. 2 are required, your English and your math teacher. Any other recommendations are optional. We also take a look at any extracurriculars you've done. So any type of sports or non-sport activities, we look at that, and how involved you are in your school and your community. There's also an interview for the Blue and Gold officer. So the Blue and Gold officer, it's specific to every high school. They conduct the interview on our behalf. These Blue and Gold officers live in your neighborhoods, but they're a wealth of knowledge about the Naval Academy and what it's all about. So definitely, once you start the application process, you definitely want to make sure you get involved with your Blue and Gold officer. So again, you have to be physically qualified to come here to the Naval Academy. Again, the physical mission is very important to us. So this is just the items that are necessary for that. The big takeaway, it has to be conducted by a coach, a PE teacher, a commissioned officer, or your Blue and Gold officer. So if it's done by anyone else, your CFA is invalid. So we want to make sure you do that correctly. Medical qualifications. So the next 2 slides I will discuss are the 2 things that trip up people the most when they apply to Naval Academy. For medical qualifications, this is done by a separate organization, Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board. We have no control over them. The key takeaway here, you have to complete at least 5 documents in your record for us to send your name over to them. So if you have 4 or less, we cannot send your name to DODMER, and you cannot schedule a physical. And that could potentially delay your application. So you really want to make sure you get that moving along. For nominations, you have to be nominated to come to the Naval Academy. So even if we find you qualified to come here, if you don't receive a nomination, you can't come to the Naval Academy. So in the nomination process, that's federal law. Where can you get a nomination? Everyone in America is eligible for 4 nominations right off the bat. Vice President, your 2 U.S. senators, and your congressman. So we encourage everyone to apply to all 4 of those. Don't be bashful. Just apply to all 4. That's the biggest thing. Another piece of advice, go to their website specifically. Every congressman or senator is different. They all have their own different quirkiness about their application process. So you really want to make sure you go to their website early during the summertime and see what they want from you. More advice, make sure you have a strong foundation in math and science. We have no minimum GPA here at the Naval Academy. So what we recommend is that you want to be in the top 30% of your class, 25-30% of your class. Again, SAT, ACT, we accept both. And you really want to challenge yourself with AP honors and IB courses. Now, if you don't get accepted the first time, there are other ways to come into the Naval Academy. One is if you're a prior enlisted, so if you're a enlisted sailor or Marine, you can actually apply to Naval Academy directly. We also have the Naval Academy Preparatory School, which is in Rhode Island, and the Foundation Program, which is throughout the country. So for the prep school, it's in Rhode Island. It's 10 months long. It's run by the Naval Academy. If we decide to send you to the prep school first, you'll go there. If you do well there, you will then be guaranteed a spot in the next class, provided you get another nomination. That's the key. You still have to apply for another nomination even while at NAPS. And there is no separate application for NAPS. Then we have Foundation. Again, this is for college preparatory programs throughout the country. We have partnerships with a lot of those around the country. If you're accepted for the Foundation program, you'll go to one of these programs. Again, if you do well and you get a nomination, you'll come to the Naval Academy. Again, there's no separate application for that. So again, this is our website, usna.edu/admissions, navysports.com if you're interested in Navy sports, Navy football. And just like everyone else, we're on Flickr, we're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. So now we're going to open it up for questions, and it looks like we have several questions here populating already. So let's see here. First question is from Lucas. How about advancement placement classes? Here at the Naval Academy, you really can't test out of classes here at the Naval Academy. Not initially, not just with an AP credit. When you show up for a plebe summer, you have to take a validation exam. And so that's run by the various departments here at the Naval Academy. Depending on how well you do in that validation exam, you can then test out of a class. Now, some departments, they want both your AP scores and the validation exam combined, and then you can test out of it. But some people, you just have to take the validation exam. But AP credits alone will not allow you to test out of a class. This is a 4-year program, so whether you test out of classes or not, you will spend 4 years here at the Naval Academy. Okay, so let's see here. One from an anonymous person here. What is a daily life, Bancroft Hall? Well, I think we addressed that earlier. As a freshman, it's very regimented. Your time is no longer your own. So just refer back to that that schedule we showed before, and that'll tell you basically exactly how that works. Let's see. Another anonymous one. How would one decide on a field to enter when it is between a field officer or a supply officer? So that's a good question. I'll actually let Midshipman Curie answer that one about service selection and service assignments.
So the way service selection works at the Academy is our goal is to graduate leaders who will be serving in the Navy and Marine Corps, usually in what we refer to as unrestricted line communities. And so technically supply in the Navy and Marine Corps is a restricted line community, and so it's not one that's specifically open to midshipmen when they're graduating. There has to be extenuating circumstances, usually a medical disqualification from unrestricted line that would allow you to do something like supply. So most of us would go unrestricted line, or what the question referred to as field community.
Absolutely. So just to add on to that, so beginning of your senior year, you'll be given a list, and you basically rank the list 1 through 10 what you want to do in the Navy and the Marine Corps. And then based on how you rank them, you'll then be assigned certain interviews, and you're essentially applying for a job. So you go in front of a board of officers in the field you want to go into, and you have to sell your resume, sell yourself. And if you're selected, then you will be assigned that service assignment.
And I think that's an important point, because I know when I was applying for the Naval Academy, my thought was, if I can just get in, I can kind of coast. And the truth is, I've worked a lot harder at the Naval Academy than I ever did in high school. And that's the thing here, is you're always working toward another goal. So when you get here, you're working toward the goal of service selection and things that come after that. And so you really want to hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Okay, so our next question is from Zui. Asks about if you want to become a jet pilot but don't have 20/20 vision, would that be acceptable? Things like that. So every community is different. Here at the Naval Academy, when you do your medical examination with DODMER, the Medical Examination Review Board, they will send us the results. If you have any disqualifying medical conditions, we'll then review it here with our medical staff here at the Naval Academy, and we'll determine whether to give you a waiver or not. So I would just recommend you go to our website and click on Steps for Admission. If you scroll down and click on Medical Examination, they give you more examples of exactly what is waiverable and not waiverable, what's a disqualifier or not.
You might also mention eye surgery. If you do get into the Naval Academy,
Sure.
then there are opportunities to get PRK or LASIK if you're interested in getting your vision corrected in order to fly. And that's available to all midshipmen who want to fly.
Absolutely. So our next question is from Quentin. It's what is the application process like for a U.S. citizen who does not live in the United States? It's exactly the same. So since everything's online, it affords us the opportunity to make it pretty much the same as if you were living here in the States. The only exception is the medical process and the interview with your blue and gold officer. So for the medical process, you can still do the medical portion. What will happen is you'll have to go to a military base, a U.S. base. Usually every U.S. base will have some type of medical facility, and you'll do your medical physical there. For your interview, we actually have blue and gold officers all over the world, believe it or not. So chances are, wherever you live, we'll find the closest blue and gold officer, which may be the next town or maybe the next country over. And then we'll help the blue and gold officer figure out a way to meet up with you to make it easier for you to complete your interview. But aside from everything else is the same. It's all online. Let's see. So next question here. Okay, this is from Karen again about a student is colorblind. Can they still be accepted in the Naval Academy? The answer is yes. So we still accept students who are colorblind. Colorblindness is you can't get a waiver for that. But it is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is difficult to get a waiver for color blindness, but it is possible. We do have midshipmen currently here right now who have waivers for color blindness. What you have to understand, though, is with something like color blindness, you'll be restricted in what you can do. So things like maybe surface warfare or flying jets may not be available to you because those two jobs specifically require you to be able to distinguish different colors. So color blindness will kind of preclude you from doing that. So just know that. Okay, so our next question is from Liam. I'm applying for a technical middle college this year. And is it okay to be a part of that? Things like that. We have various applicants from college. So it is not unusual to have several hundred, if not thousands, of applications from people who are currently in college. Maybe they're a reapplicant and their application wasn't very strong in high school, but they went to college to make it stronger. Maybe they went off to college not knowing about the Naval Academy, and they discovered the Naval Academy, and today this place seemed like a pretty cool place. So we normally get applications from college applicants. The main difference for college applicants is, one, your application will not be reviewed until January of the next year. So if you apply this year, we will not review your application until January, February of 2014. And that's because we want to give you a semester at least one semester in college before we consider your application. The delay does not hurt your chances in any way. It will not make you a less competitive candidate. It's our way of giving you the best shot, actually. So we actually delay looking at all college applicants so that we can see where they are during that first semester of college.
And Liam also asked about Boy Scouts and participation in JROTC. And the truth is, when the admissions board is looking at applications, they're looking at what Lieutenant Canola talked about, the whole person concept. And so sometimes, especially in high school, if you're motivated in high school, you tend to get involved in a lot of different things. And it's always good to make sure that whatever you're involved in, that you have deep participation in, and you're really showing some leadership potential in those things, because that's one of the things we're looking for. So if you're in Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts, then be a leader in it. Be the troop leader, whatever it is. Make sure you're participating in that.
Absolutely. Okay, next question is from John. It's asking about, he's from Puerto Rico. He's part of the, looks like Air Force JROTC unit at his school, which is a good job. And that does help. And another part of his question was multiple nominations. Does that help or hinder your application? For multiple nominations, it doesn't either. So it doesn't help you or hurt you. You only need one nomination to come here at the Naval Academy. So if you have at least one, that's great. We do not weigh applications with multiple nominations higher than an application that only has one nomination. So they're considered equal. So if you have multiple nominations, we won't say, oh, you're a much better candidate than this other guy. Absolutely not. So it's all the same to us. Let's see here. Let's go. Next question. A lot of great questions here, guys. Please keep them up. Okay, Sean, you're welcome. Thanks for the compliment. We really appreciate it. Okay, another question from Liam. I want a career in diving and I would like to do oceanography. Would I be able to further my diving career through the Naval Academy? So absolutely. As we mentioned earlier, we have a diving club here. You can certainly major in oceanography while you're here.
And then you could do, there's plenty of great opportunities for internships and research. If you're interested in oceanography and diving, we have a specific boat here at the Naval Academy, a yard patrol craft that's specifically devoted to oceanography research. And every summer, midshipmen take it out and are doing all kinds of research on it. And so that's definitely something we can get involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can easily do that. So let's see here. Next question is from Scott. So he's talking about the CFA scores, but he wants to know what the requirements are and how does he know if his CFA score compares to being accepted by the West Point, essentially. Well, for CFA scores, again, it has to be done by a coach, PE teacher, a blue and gold officer, or commissioned officer. We do not publish the minimums for a reason. We don't want people to do just the bare minimum and just barely pass the CFA, to be honest with you. We want people to achieve their maximum goals. So we give out the maximums. Here at the Naval Academy, you can take the CFA more than once. So let's say you take the CFA and you feel like you didn't do as well as you did. You can take it again. And just like with the SATs and ACTs, we'll take your best score. So let's say you got a 150 or 100 on your CFA, and you think you could do better, and you take it again, you only make an 80. Well, we'll take your 100 because that was the best one you ever did. So if you have any questions or concerns about your CFA, the best thing you can do is just take it again. And worst case scenario, we'll just take the higher of the two scores.
And if you attend summer seminar, then you'll actually get your first CFA score there because they run one.
Okay. So our next one is from Alana, asking about graduate school. She's asking about law school, getting an MBA. How do graduate schools work exactly after your 5-year commitment, things like that.
Sure. And so law school specifically, I've never heard of it happening. And Lieutenant Colonel, you can.
Yeah, law school's one of the few ones where there is no option directly from the Naval Academy.
MBA is kind of the same thing. What the Naval Academy is looking for when you graduate from here, they're not looking to graduate lawyers. They're looking to graduate officers who are going to lead sailors and Marines in the Navy and Marine Corps. And so they want to equip you for that. And so what they send you to graduate school for is geared along those lines. So technical degrees are always welcome. People apply for things in economics, finance, public policy, organizational reform, all kinds of things like that. But law and MBAs are not two that usually make the list.
Yeah, and one other item for graduate schools. So the Navy will certainly pay for you to go to graduate school, either at a civilian university or at the Naval Postgraduate School. But it's a limited list, so they won't let you major in whatever you want. It certainly has to be something that is important to the Navy or the Marine Corps. So just keep that in mind as well. And also, anytime you ask for more schooling, that will invariably add to your time commitment here in the Naval Academy. So just keep that in mind as well. But it looks like we're just done with our hour. So sorry if we couldn't get to all the questions. A lot of great questions. Certainly encourage you to go to our website, www.usna.edu/admissions, for a wealth of knowledge there about the Naval Academy and the admission process. So signing off here with Midshipman Curry.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Again, this is Lieutenant Akinola. It's been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed the webcast, and hopefully we can hear from you very, very soon. Take care.